Hello, my name is Reynaldo Caetano. This is my final presentation for Kinesiology 505, Ethical Leader. In this presentation, I will talk about leadership styles, leadership strategies. How can I, as a coach, implement those leadership strategies to help my athletes to perform better as well as to become better people overall. So this next slide, I will first talk about my career. Once again, I am a professional soccer coach. I have 8 years of experience. Prior to that, I played soccer professionally, and I have coached at a variety of levels. I coached high school players, university, as well as professional players. And besides being my passion, being involved in soccer, I believe this is my call, my purpose in life, to inspire and motivate people through playing sports, specifically soccer. Um, in this next slide, I will talk about the leadership styles that I learned uh, through 8 weeks of Kinesiology 505. And transformational leadership encourages, inspires, and motivates, help others and the respective organization to achieve its common goals, reflecting the future success of an organization. I believe that personally, I have those characteristics where I try to encourage people, inspire, and motivate them through my coaching. I like to use quotes to be specific, some certain words, and talk about the passion for the game. And then I think that's one way that I can motivate and inspire my athletes. Um, Very interesting about this transformational leadership. It has been demonstrated that um, it can be very effective in different fields, business, military, as well as in sports. Um, Another leadership style that I learned that can be effective is the transactional leadership. Transactional leadership, it is a contrast with transformational leadership, because this leadership is about motivating followers through potential rewards as well as by exchanging resources, offering payment for doing a specific work. I like to keep in mind that in my case, for instance, working with athletes, some of the athletes might not be motivated, might not. So there's not a problem based on this leadership style. So I might need to implement a different style. So I might be able to use the transactional leadership. So based on the transformational leader, there's some aspects to it. For instance, the idealized influence, demonstrating a charismatic behavior that is attributed to the leader by followers. How can I implement this on a daily basis in my coaching? So, presenting a clear, equal, and consistent communication to all my players, as well as stressing the core ethical values and principles according to the club that we are representing. So, a clear and equal communication to everybody. So, my players, do not think that I can be favoring one or the other. Everyone is equal. So hoping with that um, I might be recognized as a charismatic behavior, but that that is not the intention, to do that intentionally. So hopefully everything will happen in an organic way. Um, inspirational motivation. Help individuals setting concrete and high standard goals and supporting them to achieve the goals. So how can I implement that? Demonstrating enthusiasm and optimism, providing support so individuals can achieve their goals. For instance, the club where I work currently, we have a lot of players, and they come from different socioeconomic status. So a lot of players might not have um, financial support to buy gears, perhaps to engage in a more advanced training to improve their skills. So as a coach, I really do try to find some sponsorships and somebody who can help them, so they can achieve that goal, those those goals. So we try to motivate them and then helping them in that way. Um, Transformational leadership. Also, another aspect of it is the intellectual stimulation, giving freedom to followers to be creative and innovative, encourage them to search for reasons that things are done a certain way. A lot of times, I think that especially players, they are not even thinking about why things are done a specific way. So based on that, I like to give the players the opportunities to be involved, um, with the designing process of the training session, of the periodization for the whole year. So players are part of the process, and then they know why they are doing things, the, why they are training the way they are training for those specific days. So we also encourage them to look for those answers. Another aspect, individual consideration, creating a supportive and encouraging environment, paying attention to followers' needs for growth and achievement. Simply be a servant leader. So where I try to mentor them as they carry out their respective tasks and roles. So players have different individual needs, and for instance, based on players position, the striker, usually those players have some goals to score a specific number of goals per season. So we try to provide them a little extra training so they can achieve that. Regarding to a more personal idea, sometimes a player might need help with some school homework, and we try to mentor, we try to help them, and then perhaps find a tutor who can help them throughout that process. So thinking about each individual need. Once again, here the transactional leader. So why? It's just a contrast to the transformational leader, thinking that people are different and you might need a different way to be motivated. In this case, demands of a specific situations provide the players with specific rewards. For instance, if we win a championship, we will include a financial bonus for all players and staff. Nothing wrong with the transformational or transactional, but definitely thinking that people might just need a different way to be motivated, and then that can be a good strategy, and besides only using transformational leadership. Also, social leader. Leadership through social interaction. Leadership is primarily social in nature, a collective process bringing people together pursuing common goals. Um, Again, I'll be coaching uh, with other people involved, not just the players, but I also have the technical directors and other managers involved. So the social interaction will be very important for all of us accomplish tasks and get the job done. Um, One aspect to social interaction, leadership through social interaction, coach athlete centered leadership, sharing responsibility and accountability. Coach and each athlete in the team are in it together. So making sure everybody can contribute, everybody can collaborate throughout the process. Mutual commitment and cooperation. Once again, everyone is involved. Players and coaches simply empowering each other to build great relationship to make the impossible possible. Um, Again, the social interaction, it can go wrong in a sense that on a daily basis, coaches and players and club directors, people will be working together every day. So adopting that strategy can be very positive. Well, of course, there's life. It's not perfect, and then we might have to face some issues and problem. Um, one thing that I learned throughout my 8 years of coaching and in my previous years uh, playing soccer, playing time, major issue in the youth soccer as well as professional level. Why? Because everybody wants to play, no one wants to be on the bench, which is understandable. We players have that need to prove that they can perform, especially at a high level. But what we can do to minimize those problems. Provide team and individual meetings. So what are the goals? Understanding each one's goals and individuals as team goals. Maybe setting up a playing time system. Coaching style ideas and objectives. So me as a coach, I needed to be able to explain exactly how things might work, being open-minded that things might change throughout the season, but trying to stick with a plan in a sense that, for instance, if I say I will have that starting 11 and then most of the time they will play, but of course we might try to find extra game for players who are not playing as much, but communicating with everybody and making sure they understand the message. Another situation I like to point it out is simulation, faking a play. It happens in sports all the time. I believe that I needed to help my players to understand that we need to respect the game, opponents, referees, and fans. So what I do not want people do against me, I'm not gonna do against them. Not try to provoke anyone on the field and then kick someone from behind, just trying to provoke so that athlete can get a yellow card, so that can benefit my team. As a coach, I will not allow simulation in training. The way we train, the way we play. The way we train, the way we play. I learned that at a young age. It works. So if I don't allow certain things during my training, my players will likely follow through with that behavior. For guidance, including our faith integration, I like to reference Exodus 20:12. Honor your father and your mother, that your days might be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving to you. The other one, Corinthians 9:25, everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but will do it to get a crown that will last forever. So the idea here is that we should respect, we should honor our family, and then that's what we try to teach our players. Ultimately, soccer will not last forever, and we have our families, and then we should do things based on our families and then our faith to God. Of course, that I respect players who might have different beliefs, but this idea can guide us, can provide guidance in an overall respect for the game and then for everything else. Some final considerations and things to think about throughout this course, learning about leadership strategies, as well as that a coach has a duty to provide for safety of athletes, especially the youth players, because sometimes during training, during game, things can be fatal. So we have to be responsible accordingly to our important position of coaches and educators, and then be there for our students. A deeper look into the leadership, a little reflection, and then I wanted to reference the coach Dorrance, his thinking. This is his thinking that the best leadership style is the one that will fit players, coaches, and staff preferences as well as demands of specific situations. Once again, when I chose 3 different strategies: transformational, transactional, and social interaction leadership. So because I think that will help me to provide to different population, because people are simply different. For the future, also learned from Ethics and Leadership, Kinesiology 505, a powerful definition for the word sportsmanship. It talks about truthfulness, courage, Spartan endurance, self-respect, fairness, consideration for different opinions. So I like to bring this with me and then use those powerful words on my daily basis coaching. Also, I learned that developing individuals through high ethical standards, so that can be an example of how help individuals improve ourselves, perhaps exercise the habit of ethical decision making. So present to my players some situations where they have to think about the decision making. So what I do is whatever I do during the game, during the training, is gonna impact my teammates, is gonna impact the referee, the fans. So show the players perhaps some videos and then give them those scenarios where they can exercise that habit of decision making in order to develop high ethical standards and avoid some bad choices potentially. This is the reference page, and this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.